There's some more handouts over here. Want to give him? Yitzhak can come looking with me. Okay, good evening, Rabbi Sai. Maharal, Parshas Chayei. Thank you to Torah Anytime for giving us the opportunity to teach Torah to people anywhere and anytime. Vayihi kasher kilu hagmalim lishtois. We're going to do a shtikala Maharal from Sefer Gur Aryeh, Perek Chav Dalet, Pasuk Chav Beis. Let's read the Pasuk and let's read the Rashi. Vayihi kasher kilu hagmalim lishtois. When the Gemalim finished drinking, as Eliezer Eben Avram had said, that if the girl gives me and gives to the Gemalim, then this is the one that's appropriate for Adoni, for my master, who at that point in time was already Yitzchak. Vayikach ha'ish nezem zav, and he took a nezem zav, a nose ring of gold, beka mishkalai. You need to know, you want to know how big it was? It was a beka. Ushnei tzmidim, and 2 bracelets, al yodeh, asara zahav mishkalam. Why does the Torah HaKadoshah have to tell us how much these items, this jewelry weighed? Because he wants to tell us how expensive they were. So therefore he told us the weight. I mean, very nice. Zeir Shein. But the Torah doesn't give us anything that's not necessary. Rashi points this out. Rashi, Chav Beis, it's here. Remez l'shikle Yisrael. Beka la Gilgoilis. The carbonis that Klal Yisrael would bring. Each carbon was Moshe, slicha. Each year on Chodesh Adar, they would announce the shkalim. Everybody would bring machzis hashekel, beka la gilgoiles. So that amount was the beka of this nose ring. Exact the same amount. And shnei tzmidim, what is that? L'ramez l'shnei luchais, to the 2 luchais. How many dibrais, how many commandments were on these 2 luchais? Aseres adibras. Remez aseres adibras. So 2 luchais, aseres adibras, the beka la gilgoiles, the amount that they brought for carbonis. Says the Maharal, how come Rashi's saying this? How does Rashi know this? Rashi's getting it from Chazal. Aber why are they saying that this is what Eliezer had in mind? What is the pasuk coming to teach me? Don't think that it was so expensive. If Klal Yisrael had to give a machzis a shekel, it wasn't so much. It wasn't that much. So to now tell me that he's giving her a inexpensive piece of jewelry, El Chipo Chalala. So that zikr doesn't make sense. And the Torah is all nach zugen. Right? Come on, he's coming from Avram Avinu. We learned just in the Zera Shimshon, lo chaser klum. Right? This is like doing a shidduch with the Reichmans. You know, Chachik, you're going to get something really good. Avram was an Ashir. He isn't going to be cheap on his first daughter-in-law. So must be it's something else. It must be something a grois zach. Not the weight was a grois zach, but the inyan was a grois zach. What it represented was a big thing. Upirish, this beka was carbonis for Klal Yisrael shetzrichim la'avoda. Ve'im toimar lama la haremez kasher loi hevina hi haremez. I want to ask the Olam a question. Aseres adibris, shnei luchais, beka la galgoilas. Did Rivka know these things? Mistama, where she learned it in Beis Yankiv. I saw her Schneerson. She was 3 years old. How could she know this? Who taught her? Lovin? Lovin told it to her. Ruach HaKodesh.
The Malach and the Betin, the Malach.
Right.
So 3 years earlier.
Would it be reasonable to say that maybe she didn't know?
Maybe.
What would be? If you had a choice between whether she knew or she didn't know, which would be the more reasonable assumption? She didn't know or she didn't know? The Maharal takes the reasonable assumption. She didn't know. So, agroise glick. So now you do know. Was weißt du? Listen to what he says. Ein ze kusha. The avagav de ihi lo yoda, maz lo yoda. What does that mean? Maz lo yoda. Lefichach ramez lo. The Gemara talks about the mazel of a person. Gemara Baba Kama, for example, talks about the difference between why does it say ki yigach, right, or ki yigoif. Yigach means that you have to go out and go ahead and gore. The animal has to go. It's talking regarding a man. Ki yigach, the behema is yigach ish or isha. Ki yigoif is being when it pushes another behema. Says the Gemara, Adam islay mazla. Behema leslay mazla. A behema doesn't have the mazel, and one could just bump into the other. Yigoif is just it bumps in. Yigach means it has to go after me. It has a mazel. Mazel, in a sense, is not something necessary which he's aware of. A mazel is something which protects him. Maybe like a neshama. What's the difference between mazel and neshama? I'm not sure. But there's a concept of a mazel, which the Gemara talks about. If a person, the Gemara says that when there's a ruach hakodesh, the Gemara says he might not feel it, but mazle, his mazel feels it. Which when a person or sometimes will feel that, like, something's here. I don't know why, I can't put my finger on it. It's something either because there's a mazik in the room and his mazel feels it, or because there's a guest like an ushpizen that's in the room and he's not aware of it, but his mazel is aware of it. So the mazel is a sixth sense in a person which he's not aware of unless there's a heilige mensch. But the pshat is when you talk about something feels right or something feels off and I can't explain it, that's l'chayra what Chazal means is mazel is being margishit. A mazel Yisrael means you can change it, you can go above it. Taisus already we said many times says they were born. We've learned it. So Avram Avinu last week's parsha. Avram is loy noilach. Say mazel shecha. Sarah also get out of your mazel. There is mazel. Ein mazel Yisrael doesn't mean there's no mazel. It means that the mazel that you have is changeable. Rebbe went and took a star out from there and put it over there, changed the koichav and moved it from one place to the next. Did Rivka understand in her conscious self what was being given? No. But her mazel means this, she knew that this was something big, that much she could understand, and it felt right. And it's the right thing. What was he being meramis her? Zog the heilige Maharal. V'im taimer lama ramaz lo zois ha-mitzvahs yosem mishar mitzvahs elanira shira oisa goimelas chesed. As he wanted and as he requested, he knew that for Yitzchak, the proper balance and the proper girl to come in to Ashes, to be the daughter of Yitzchak, and the family of Ram would be a girl with gemilas chasadim. That's why he said, let's see if she gives me to drink, let's see if she goes and gives the camels to drink. Lamazen. He saw she had gemilas chesed. So he let her know, Ramaz la'oid. Ha'avoida v'ha'toira b'shnei hatzmidim al yodeh k'moishe masik. That the world is based on what you have, and getting married to Yitzchak, what you will be acquiring. Because you and Yitzchak are going to establish Klal Yisrael. You're going to have a child, two of them actually. But from one of them, he's going to be the father of Klal Yisrael. Avram is Atata, Yitzchak, Avram and Sarah, Atata and Mama, Yitzchak and Rivka. What is this zivug based on? Zokt the Maharal. V'hashta teya lo shloisha dvarim. Shal shloshta na'olam oimed. The Torah avoida ugemilas chasodim. Remez lo. Ma'achar sheyesh lo amud echad. Once she has one, which is the Gemilas Chasodim, Tihi lo kol shloishtan. She'll have all three as well. V'oid, ki elu gimel dvarim timtza b'Yisrael. Torah b'Yisrael, Avodah b'Yisrael, Gemilas Chasodim b'Yisrael. Shekein amar Rabbi Seinu Zal, kol mi she'enoi goimel chesed, enoi mi Yisrael. A person who's not a goimel chesed, you have to wonder, what's his yichus? How could you not be goimel? Right? Like Chazal say, this nation, Rachmanim, Baishanim, Goimel Chasodim, it's in our DNA. We've spoken out many times, the Maharal says that Rachmanim, Baishanim, Goimel Chasodim are the midos of the Avos HaKadoshim. Rachmanim, Baishanim, Goimel Chasodim, a Goimel Chesed like Avraham Avinu, Rivka, Baishanim, the Lashon of Yira, Lama'anti Bushal Penechem Lebilti Sechto, the Mid of Yitzchak, right? Pachad Yitzchak, Lebilti Sechto. Rachman is the Mid of Yaakov Avinu. Those three midas decide and are the essence of a Yid. When the Givonim, who were serving Noiv Irakehanim, when Noiv Irakehanim was slaughtered out by Doyeg Adoimi, by Shul, and then these Givonim had no food, and they wanted revenge. It didn't rain in Eretz Yisrael for years. David HaMelech was Shul Bunim V'tumim. He asked, why is it not raining? He said, because of the Givonim. So he approached them. He says, what can I do to appease you? They said, give us 7 children of Shul, and we'll hang them. And that'll be retribution. And David HaMelech gebeten, and he begged them. He says, don't be so cold-blooded. Zai Rachmanis, Hab Rachmanis. And they said no. And 7 children of Shul, grandchildren, were hung. It was they had to go by the Urim V'tumim. If they would have been Mevater, Zeu, they would have been Vitur. And then it started raining. David HaMelech had gesagt, anybody who's from Givonim is not shaykh to Klal Yisrael. Not shaykh. Where's the Rachmanis? Where's the Goimel Chasodim? They have no shaykhs to Klal Yisrael, and they shall never have shaykhs to Klal Yisrael. They can't be part of us. When Yitzchak is getting married to Rivka, and Eliezer is the shliach to make this happen, and he brings her matanas, he's giving her, now pay attention, and Eidelavart, he's giving her jewelry. Jewelry are valuable items. What do we value? Torah, Avodah, Gemilas Chasodim. The jewelry, which is of natural value, is for Klal Yisrael the basis, the basis of what we value and what is the essence of Klal Yisrael. Zog the Maharal, Kol mi she'enoi goimel chesed enoi mi Yisrael. What's wrong with you? What do you mean you're not doing chesed? There's got to be something wrong. V'atam shebi Yisrael davke heim elu dvarim ki elu shleish dvarim heim emudei oilam she'oilam oimed aleim. These are the foundations of shleish dvarim oilam oimed. And if the oilam is oimed of Klal Yisrael, then Klal Yisrael has to have these midas, so they should be the foundation. V'lechein gimel dvarim nasnu le'avos shehem yisoid v'amudei oilam. These 3 midas, like we just mentioned here, the Maharal says it. Avraham is goimel chesed. Avodah liyitzchak shenekel agav mezbech. Er aleini gevein carbon. He himself, the Amud Avodah, he himself was a carbon. And Teiras Yaakov Yoshev Oholim. Ish tam Yoshev Oholim. Adam ki yamus ba'oil. A person's not kind of Toshami Meimis Atzmala, Oil Shal Torah. Oil Torah represents the Torah. Avram, Chesed, Yitzchak, Avodah, Torah Yaakov Avinu. They're the foundations of Klal Yisrael. They're the foundations of Klal Yisrael. If the bist a kind of Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, you have to have those midas. And if you don't, I wonder who you're coming from. Where are you? This, says the Maharal, the Ramaz law. Kivan shehi goymeles chasodim. Ro'uhi sheyavai mimena hazera hamevurach. She has the foundation, like Avram Avinu. She was a goymeles chesed. It's appropriate for Rivka to be the mother of Klal Yisrael, one of the Imois. Zera hamevurach asher lahem gimel dvarim. Asherheim amudei oilam. So she's mishtatefes, and she becomes appropriately the imois, one of the imois of Klal Yisrael. V'yesh lefarish ki beka mishkolei shirames boy shiklei karbonas, like Rashi says. Remezla, what is the concept? Taharis nafshei seim shel Yisrael. A carbon is there to be mechaper in Klal Yisrael. V'lifnei Hashem titharu. Lifnei Hashem titharu. Lechaper al nafshei seichem, to wipe away the mistakes. Nafshei seim shel Yisrael Hashem koinim shleimus hanafshi shenoisen HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lehem mitzvah zois beka mishkolei lechaper al nafshei seim v'letaram. V'zeu moira al zikuch hanefesh shelahem. It shows us the purity of their nefesh. V'chein beka mishkolei ba'atzmai hu hanefesh. It v'chain lekamam beParshas Truma. Ki beka mishkolei hu etzem represents the nefesh of a person. The Torah is shleimus haseichel. The zois hamayla gedol Yisrael Hashem shleimus hanefesh v'haseichel yoyser min ha'umos. Ki nafshem shel Yisrael zoch zaka v'tahara. V'chein yeshlam shleimus haseichel. This is the remez that Eliezer was telling Rivka. Let's be masber. A carbon, when the Maharal is masber, kama mailos toivos. Kama mailos toivos Yisrael, in the Dayenu song. Ilu hatziyanim mitzrayim, right? V'loi, each one, and v'loi karolanu sayam, v'loi havranu b'soicha b'chayrava, kei rabnu v'lai hasinai, nasananu satayra, hechnisanu l'eretz Yisrael, banu l'beis ha'bechira. What's the last words? Good zokt Reb Yitzi lechapra al nafshei seinu. Says the Maharal over there. The highest level is the fact that Klal Yisrael can always come clean. Every mistake has a possibility of mekenzach upvischen from them. I can wipe it out. If it's you be'etzem, there's no way you can wipe it out. How can you wipe it out? It's me. No, you can't wipe it out. But if it's only an adhesion, it's only something which is a fleck, it's a spot, shikkas to the cleaners, send it to the cleaners, and you're good to go. Zikui nefesh shelahem. That's underlined in your Maharal. Moiral zikuch nefesh shelahem. A yid has to know, every single one of us, no matter what mistakes we make, no matter how bad we think we are nafsham shal Yisrael, which means we're the essence of good. We come from the Oves and the Imois, which means we have tahiridik in the shamas. Which means we have, you see a kid, yeled, or says zeh. You say yeled ra, cholila. He's a yid. He's a yid. There's no such a thing. With the tattoos, with all the chesroinus, there's a yid. And as a yid, if he's born from the Oves HaKadoshim and the Imois, then his nefesh is so tahar that even though he makes mistakes, that's not who he is. It's Kumta Yom Kippur, and it can wipe it away. This is the soy that we talked about in our Sefer, Baruch Hashem, about the Aravos. If you got the Sefer, and you look by the Arba Minim, Aravos, the Aravos represent the Yidden who have no tam and no smell. They don't have any taste. which means they're not learning Torah. They have no smell, which means they're not doing mitzvahs. But they're still mechuber and one of the Arba Minim. And without them, you can't be mischaber and you can't be lifnei Hashem. Lakachto lifnei Hashem alekeichem, you should be v'samachta lifnei Hashem, you can't be yotza, the connection and the mitzvah, without elu poshe Yisrael, shemolui, that they're full like mitzvahs kerimain. Even with all the mistakes, with all the pshoyim, but they have the essence of good. Zera is gematria arava. The arava is the zera kodesh of Klal Yisrael. Zera kodesh in the book. The zera is, right, you have it, right? You didn't get it?
No.
Yitzi. What's heißt? Oh, yeah. Okay. And now everybody knows.
What a book.
Yeah.
What a sefer.
So Zera.
You're busy selling
You're
the
missing out. You
Arabas.
have to
I
buy
came
it.
a couple of times. He didn't
So the Zera 207 is Arava. The Arava is the Zera Kodesh of Klal Yisrael. When are we merames this Zera? When Eliezer is making the shidduch and he's giving her something for kedushin. He's giving her the beka la gilgoilis. He's giving her shnei tzmidim. He's showing her how kadosh v'tar, how zakuch nefesh alahem. This is the zivig that you're doing. This is the shitfus that you're doing with Yitzchak. This is what your people, what your children, your zera, how kadosh v'tar they're going to be. And every parent has an achrayus to their kids to give them that feeling that they believe in them and that no matter what mistake they've made, they're still zera kodesh. They're still heilige yidden. Because the last thing you want is a kid should look at himself or herself and say, I'm bad. I don't deserve. When people chalila want to hurt themselves, they're in pain because they feel bad and they feel they don't deserve, because they're feeling they're missing the basis of their goodness. If they feel how good they are, they wouldn't want to hurt themselves, chalila. It's coming from a place of pain, but the pain could be healed because Klal Yisrael is made up in their essence of this goodness. But the children have to believe it. And as parents, that's our achrayus. It's our responsibility to give them that confidence of knowing that they are the essence of good. So my Rabbi said tonight we talked about in Zera Shimshon husbands and wives, and tonight we talked about Zera and Maharal, we talked about Zera Kodesh. This week was the week that we celebrate the conclusion of Avram and Sarah, the beginning of Yitzchak and Rivka, how the Shechina transferred from the tent of Sarah to the tent of Rivka, how the Scheiner went from one place to the next, from one mizbeach to another mizbeach, like in today's Daf Yomi, one fire to another fire, how Klal Yisrael, how the Eibishter's presence went from one to another. We have to understand our achrayus of what we have to our spouses, to our children, and to ourselves.